Today's lesson, independent and dependent variables in tables and graphs. An independent variable is a variable that does not change or depend upon another variable. It is the input in your table. Where the dependent variable is a variable that changes in response to or depends upon another variable, your output in the table. Dependent variables are always graphed on the y-axis, and the column or row contains y values in the table. Where the independent variable is always graphed on the x-axis, and is the column or row containing x values in the table, usually on the top or to the left. Henry is building a bookcase for his books. The number of shelves will be based on how many books he owns. Let's identify the independent and dependent variable. What changes because of something else? Well, the more books that Henry owns, the more shelves he will need. So the dependent variable is the number of shelves because that changes based upon the number of books. Kelly is throwing a party at her house. The more people that attend her party, the more hot dogs she will cook. Well, in this case, the dependent variable is the number of hot dogs. Depending on that number is going to change based upon how many people attend her party. Your independent variables and dependent variables, here are some more examples. The amount of gas you have determines how far you can drive. The hours you work determine how much money you earn. The data you use for your cell phone determines your cell phone bill. And the team that scores the most points is the winner of the football game. These are relationships between independent and dependent variables. The dependent variable changes based upon things that happen to the independent variable. Let's look at this example. Carly earns $9.50 for every hour she works. Well, our dependent variable is the income. This is going to change depending upon the amount of time that Carly works. So our independent variable is hours. Now, the relationship between the independent and dependent variable can be described as the more hours that Carly works, the more money she earns at a rate of $9.50 per hour. We can put this information into a table. We'll place our X on the left and our Y on the right. Our X is our hours, our independent variable. The Y is the income. And our rule is the relationship. What do we do to X to make Y? Well, we're going to multiply X by 950. So if Carly works 3 hours, 3 times 950 is 2850. If she works 6 hours, 6 times 950 is $57. And if she works 9 hours, we take 9 times 950, and she would earn $85.50. Once we have made a table, we can then translate this information into a graph. First step is to identify the X and the Y-axis. The X-axis is always going across the top. Bottom is the horizontal line. So that is our hours. The Y-axis is always the vertical axis and our dependent variable of income. Then we can simply plot the points. 3 is the X, 2850 is the Y. 6 is the X, 57 is the Y, and 9 is the X, and 8550 is the Y. Then we draw a line from the 0 through our points. The only thing missing on this graph right now is a title, but we can use the title from our equation that Carly earns $9.50 for every hour she works. The last thing we can do is write an equation from the table in the graph. We always talk about our equations as what we do to X to make Y. In this case, we said $9.50 multiplied by the number of hours, which is our X, equals the income, Y. We can simplify this down into a number sentence by 950X equals y. Remember, whenever the coefficient is in front of the variable, it's an implied multiplication.